Hey everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood nerd. Just figured I'd stop in and make another video. How about that? It hasn't been a year since I've talked to you last. It's way more of a goal than I was actually thinking I'd hit this year. But anyway, to start this off, this is a little clip or a game on Stronghold in Black Ops 3. Turns out I do pretty well. Normally I don't actually do that well, but playing with the XR2, which is the 3-round burst rifle in the game, not nearly as good as the M8A7, I will add, but it is pretty nice. It's a pretty steady shot, and I do enjoy that. Yeah, it's just a pretty basic game, I guess. Just domination. Not as close as the last one, but it's me kind of going off with that locust there that I just picked up. Yeah, I guess one thing I want to mention in this video is going to be about the fastest way, I guess, for me to grow. I guess that's a really poor way to put it. Leveling up, right, takes a little bit of skill, takes a little bit of game knowledge, but for people who are just kind of picking it up, they don't really know how to get that game knowledge, how to get that sort of growth. And I briefly mentioned it in my last video, but the biggest thing is learning guns and keeping with that, learning specific things rather than trying to learn everything at once. It's something a lot of people in different games have seemed to already pick up, and for whatever reason, it never caught on in the Call of Duty scene, at least from what I've seen. Basically, the premise is the same as in Hearthstone. People play just one class over and over and over again. They get used to it, they learn the hero power, they learn the cards that has. The same with StarCraft and which character you can choose. I never really played StarCraft, but that's one example that I know it started a lot in with Brood War as well as StarCraft 2. And then it goes into League of Legends, where there's, almost like 129, about 130 champions if when Alawi gets released. In there, and there's a lot of interactions in that game, and I don't think there's any difference, at least in that sense, between those games and Call of Duty. It should be treated the same. The fact is, in Call of Duty, you have what is it, like 40 guns or so in the game total, not to mention different variants, different attachments you can put on there to make it more comfortable for yourself. Frankly, somehow we managed to get this far into the Call of Duty series without anyone really explaining why you should just pick a gun, kind of play through it over and over again, and then get better with it. I guess the easiest way of describing it is, in Call of Duty terms, you are using that gun as an extension of yourself, right? So the reason I prefer the XR2 and the M8A7 is from all the time in Black Ops 2 when the M8A1 is the only gun I really used. It's the only one that I liked. It's the only one I felt comfortable on. And I feel the same way in this game. Those are the two that I'm the most comfortable with, along with the KN-44, which is the first gun in the game that I reached gold on. Or I got all the prestiging and done everything, and I got everything done for it. Like all the different things you can get done with getting the camos and headshots and all the stuff you have to get for it. And I guess the reason I say that is when I use the XR2, it feels very similarly to the FAMAS, at least for me. It's not quite the same as the FAMAS from Modern Warfare 2, but it's nice. It feels comfortable in my hand, in my shot. The M8A7, like I was saying, is exactly the way the M8A1 is. The reload's the same, animation canceling's the exact same. There's really no noticeable difference other than the skin of the game. And the fact that I know how to play with that gun, as if I'm playing with new DLC on Black Ops 2, it makes it more comfortable for me. Because then all of the time that I put in on Black Ops 2 all of a sudden becomes much more relevant than it would in a normal game-to-game basis. That same sort of thing applies with just about everything in the game. I'm sure a lot of people would go from Modern Warfare 3 to Black Ops 2 to Ghost to Advanced Warfare, and they would use the same little things. You might be a real big fan of EMPs because of the way Black Ops 2 worked. You might be a really big fan of sticky grenades with how good they were in Warfare 2, or you might absolutely hate them based on Black Ops 2 because they actually were worse than frag grenades. For some people, a really good example is Only Use Me Blade, as well as anybody else who is exactly like that, who only uses a blade. They get used to maneuvering the map and figuring out ways on these maps to make what they want to do the most comfortable and the easiest. That same sort of thing applies, again, with every single thing in the game. Now, the biggest part in Black Ops 3, and something a lot of people are kind of overlooking, is the Specialist class. The fact is, you get a ton of experience by completing the challenges for it, which most of them are just getting kills with the Specialist. Now, I'm sure Double XP helped a lot in getting my first Prestige done so fast, but another big portion of it is the fact that I went through and used the battery class, the one with the kinetic armor and war machine. The kinetic armor is the one that basically just gives you like a mini version of Flak Jacket or stopping power. Not stopping power, Juggernaut. It gives you those for a brief amount of time or a certain amount of shots with the war machine. And those, while I can do well with them, it helps learning those characters, and it helps to learn what I can and can't handle. Specifically with the kinetic armor, I think it's very undervalued at this point in the game because a lot of people are just really playing to get big streaks, get big kill games, try and be the world record holder of whatever kill game they can get in whatever game mode. I would assume it's going to be Demolition. But in the case of these, right, you're trying to learn with the kinetic armor. I'm using that for an example just because I've already touched on it. If you use kinetic armor, learn to just kind of play hardpoint domination and just kind of blindly keep running in as much as you can, where you just challenge hills. You take a submachine gun and you just keep pushing the hill, keep pushing points, always on attack rather than defend. You're probably going to lose some games, and that's okay, because you're not looking to win. You're looking to learn from the gun that you have. And if you win along the way, that's great, and that helps. But you don't necessarily have to do that to get better as a player. And if you're looking to do that, I think kinetic armor is a great example, because if you challenge all those hills, right, you keep going in with your, let's say the Vesper. You don't really know how the Vesper works. You never played Black Ops 2 and got used to the Scorpion, which is what I think it's very similar to. When you play and you keep challenging the same hills, you keep going to the same B flags, looking for the same roundabout ways, you find it easier to get there. Alright, sorry about that. I actually kind of ran out of time there and decided I was going to keep going. Just threw on another video. It's not the best. Like I said, I'm not extremely good at this game yet. I'm still kind of going on it. But this is going to be a game on Aquarium with, I think I start out the game with the HVK. I don't remember if I switch. I think I switched to the either the M8 or the VMP, but it doesn't matter. It's just kind of at the end of the video here. Back to the point on leveling faster and being able to learn the game at a better rate. I just heavily suggest making sure you learn more than just the basics of shoot here, don't shoot there. That's good, but you want to learn it gun by gun. You want to learn it class by class in this case. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, are seeing the specialists as a cool little bonus, but they're not thinking about what that specialist does per se and how that changes game to game. A good example is from the Hunter class over to what's the name of that? The Hunter class to Purifier, which is the one I'm running in this the past couple games here. That's the one with the flamethrower. It's Purifier, and I think it's the Hunter class is the one with the arrow, the Sparrow. In that one, Sparrow, you tend to be more ranged and try and stay back as much as you can. You don't really want to run and gun with it, although I'm sure a lot of people like to. It's not the most effective way of using it. However, if you take Purifier or you take Battery with the War Machine, if you take any of those and you start challenging hills, you start going in on teammates, or in with teammates, I should say, to contest objectives, kind of escorting them along and, say, capture the flag or whatever, where you need to get into gunfights, you have to, then it changes your playstyle a little bit. And the reason I think it's significant is because it's not just your gun that's determining this, right? So you can take a long-range gun, say sniper rifle or an LMG, one that you're not going to want to just get into a fight with and have to hip fire, or you have to quick draw and pull the gun up and hopefully get there first. If in that case, you're probably going to die a lot and it's not going to be as effective. Where if you were to get a specialist class and a gun that goes well together, like submachine guns and the Purifier, because you can quickly switch to the Purifier and push a hill, just kind of spray the fire in, and you'll be able to get something out of it. Getting kills, getting assists, clearing the objective, capture kills, whatever, getting you a ton of score streak points that you wouldn't normally get. Because if you did the same thing with Tempest, let's say, you might get some if you get a chain reaction, but otherwise you kind of miss out on everything. Where if you throw, what's another good example? The Annihilator class, the one, it's the one with the, it reminds me of the Deagle from CS:GO, or old Counter-Strike, where you're just running around with a pistol and you got the one-shot kill type of thing. With those, you can't really push the hill the same way, and you're kind of forced into making decisions. So if you're going to pick that type of class, while it's decent for rushing, don't try and push the hill at the same time. If you want to, play off the objective. Play for getting streaks. Play a little bit further back do your best to manipulate spawns, manipulate them, so that way you can get a better game out of it. Sorry about that. But yeah, I think that's the gist of it. Personally, I've gone for getting the battery first, just because it's the easiest one when you're learning the game. I think it has the most benefit to it, at least. And the same with the guns. I picked the KN-44 in part because it's the first gun available and you have the most time to dedicate to it. But it also gives you the ability, I'll say, to push forward and abuse different. Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling. I picked that one because it reminds me of the AN-94 from Black Ops 2. I picked it because I know how to manipulate the map and I know how to use that gun already. So it's easiest when I already know that gun to adapt it onto Black Ops 3, which is going to have new maps where I have to learn other things rather than the gun itself. It's the same reason that I unlocked the M8A7 with my permanent unlock on my first Prestige. It's so that I'm able to use that and I don't have to focus so much on the gun. It helps and I can do some focusing on it, but the majority of it is I'm focusing on the individual matchups of how does this M8 translate against different submachine guns in this game. How does it work with the shotguns, the sniper rifles, the other assault rifles, and their fire rates? What battles am I going to win? How am I going to do when I'm put in a position that I haven't been faced with, and I'm given something at least one thing that I do know how to use, and I know how to react with. Sorry, I'm just watching this game and I can see how god-awful we're doing. I mean, I'm doing well, but Jesus. And one thing I will mention about this game, early on, it's something I haven't really done a lot with yet, but for people who are looking to get easy score streaks, just take that one of the launchers, the one that you get at the beginning of the game that you can free fire with as well as lock on. That thing is going to give you so many score streaks because everybody's just throwing up UAVs and counter UAVs, and those are so easy to shoot down. Even Wraiths, it's only like 2 shots with the with one of those the launchers. You don't really have to do a lot to get everything taken out of the sky. You can shoot down the Wraith, kind of run in, challenge a hill, kind of waste your ammo and treat yourself kind of as just a body you're throwing to the wolves. You get a kill, that's great. If you don't, that's fine. You respawn, you're able to take down the UAVs, and that helps out your team more than the drawback of just letting yourself die at least once or twice. God, it's just painful. I mean, we're playing against an entire team here, but it's just a shame that the way it's going. Oh wow, they're clan tank 1738. Fetty Wap in the house. Remy Boys. Shouts to you. 679. Trap Queen. Trap Love. Trap Love. Trap Life. Whatever. Yeah, it's. And the same thing applies for score streaks. Don't know how I forgot about that. Score streaks and your explosives, all that same stuff applies. Make sure you use the same ones over and over again until you get used to it. Part of the reason I mentioned that is because I saw myself using the thermite. Thermite in this game, I would say, is much stronger than the other options. I don't really like the grenades. I'm not a big fan of Semtex or the throwing knives in this game, but I feel like the thermite does a pretty good job. It's like a sticky grenade that stays in one spot. So if you're playing a lot of objective game modes, like this one, Domination, if you're playing Demolition or Hardpoint, it's actually really, really useful in order to take down objectives and make sure they're, benefiting you rather than benefiting just everyone, like the way a smokescreen does in Domination, or the way, say, a sentry gun benefits your team as a score streak. Benefits in capture the flag, allowing you to set that as your defensive, play the rest of your team a little bit more forward, and hopefully pressure for another flag. But anyway, I've talked way too much. You guys probably are not going to make it to the end of this video. So I'll just say thank you guys. For the people who did watch my last video, I appreciate the support. Specific shouts to Gary and Carly. You guys really are the best. I can't thank you guys enough for actually supporting what I do. Other than that, I will talk to you guys later. Again, hopefully it won't be too long before I see you again. You guys get to hear my wonderful filtered voice through this cheap filter I bought on Amazon and this wonderful Blue Yeti microphone. Have a nice day, guys. Take care.